The World Health Organization is attempting a global power grab by seeking to have the 194 member nations sign a completely new international agreement commonly referred to as the Proposed Pandemic Treaty, in addition to seeking to adopt proposed amendments to the international health regulations. The Proposed Pandemic Treaty would give the WHO control over pathogens with pandemic potential, as well as control over the means of production within the pharmaceutical, hospital, emergency industrial complex. It is an absolute abomination that must be stopped immediately. The proposed amendments would make the WHO's proclamations legally binding rather than just advisory recommendations. The proposed amendments seek to institute global digital health certificates, dramatically increase the billions of dollars available to the WHO, and enable nations to implement the regulations without respect for the dignity, human rights, and fundamental freedoms of people. The people behind these negotiations are hell-bent on creating a totalitarian dictatorship designed to enslave every human being within a digital prison that is lined with health certificates and continuous surveillance. Agreement by a simple majority of the 194 member nations is all that is needed to adopt the amendments, because as amendments to an existing agreement, neither the advice and consent of the United States Senate nor the signature of the President would be required. These proposed amendments are being negotiated in secret without any opportunity for comment by the people from around the world. The treaty is set to go into final negotiations and signing between February 27th and March 3rd, 2023. Do you remember what happened in 2020? The world's governments reacted in an extreme and unprecedented manner to what became known as the COVID-19 pandemic. They locked down people in their homes, closed all businesses, schools, and places of worship, implemented social distancing rules, required people to be tested, masked, and tracked 24/7. They incentivized friends and families to turn on each other and created the worst economic disaster in known human history. The consequences of their actions are truly only beginning to be fully understood by the people. Suicides, violence, addictions, abuse, and mental illnesses are still skyrocketing. Upon the introduction of an experimental gene therapy injection, they rolled out a never-before-seen campaign to pressure, coerce, and blackmail the population into compliance with their medical mandates. They banned those who did not comply from earning a living, kept students out of school, and even restricted people from buying essential products for their survival. They withheld critical information about side effects, adverse reactions including death, and it is now proven that they flat out lied to the public. The biggest driver for all these measures were the WHO's recommendations and guidelines. They continually called for even stricter measures and lauded countries like China, Australia, and New Zealand, who committed many human rights violations in the name of trusting the science. If the 194 member states, including the United States, signed a new pandemic treaty, the WHO will now be in charge of declaring pandemics and dictating to all member states what measures need to be taken. The member states would be under legal obligation to comply. This means that the WHO, who is in large parts funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and China, would take control over all essential aspects of public and private life during a declared health emergency, which they can declare single-handedly without a voting process or the consent of the member nations. Make no mistake, all their current and proposed governing documents show their clear intent to take complete control, mandate medical procedures including testing and vaccinations for everybody, impose travel restrictions, lockdowns, 24/7 surveillance, forced quarantines, and much more. The implications of this treaty are so far-reaching that any thinking person with an intact soul must act immediately to prevent this from happening. Here is your call to action. Number 1, please scroll down to the description of this video and download and read a document called 100 Reasons with all pertinent information written by James Roguski. Number 2, download the Activist Toolbox and follow the instructions. Anyone can do this. Number 3, call your governor and attorney general and make them aware of this. ask them to use any tool at their disposal to prevent this from happening and/or taking effect. Number 4, call your U.S. representatives and demand immediate action to stop this. Number 5, gather with your friends and family for peaceful protests and make your voices heard. Number 6, please share this video and the information with everyone you know immediately. We all have pivotal moments in our lives, moments that determine our destiny. This is a pivotal moment for the human family. What we do now will determine whether we move into complete tyranny or closer to freedom and sovereignty for the human family. Please take the necessary inspired action today. Go within, connect with your Creator, and then take these steps and help to stop this horrific thing from happening. We can do this. We have the capacity, the critical mass, the intelligence, the unity to create this. But we must act now and we must work together. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon. We're more dedicated than ever to provide authentic, truthful, and uncensored information and inspiration. That's why we created the Inspired community on the free speech platform Locals. There's no censorship, a free flow of information, and it's more personal and intimate. And you can join us as a free member or a paid supporter. Please visit inspired.locals.com and join us today.